Hi everybody. As I said last time, I'm going to talk about how to prepare for a race, have fun, and stay injury-free throughout the course of your training and preparation. But I'm going to take you back a little bit because I want to share with you what I'm going to be doing next year in terms of racing for me. I decided that I'm gonna do 5 stage races in 2022. Obviously, these races I was supposed to do in 2020. However, it changed, and I'll be doing these races in 2022, God willing, with everything going on. But I'm still gonna prepare for these races as if I am doing them. The races that I'm doing, and I'm really happy to share with you the process that I'm going to go through in order to prepare for them. So the company that I chose is called Racingtheplanet. I have done 3 of the races and I had an amazing experience. I met some interesting people and I've made some great friendships throughout when I was doing these races, and I'm still friends with people from those races. And what I liked about those races is that you're out there and they really encourage you not to use your cell phone. And even though some people did, I felt that it was so important for me to go a week and really detox myself from the digital world. I did use it for taking pictures though, but I tried to kind of step back and enjoy the moment of these races. And I was so enthralled with these races that I decided that I'm gonna go and attempt to do 5 of them in 1 year. So why would you do that? Somebody told me, are you getting paid for it? No, I'm not. I'm not getting paid for it. But I feel that the value it brought to me was just so amazing that I wanted to go and push myself out of the comfort zone and really go into a place of see if I can do it. And if I can't, then I can't. But I'm gonna do everything I can to prepare for these races. So I mentioned to you that it's called Racingtheplanet. Look on their website, they have a lot of interesting things, and it is really a great organization for doing your first stage race. So the races will be as follows. In April, it will be Namibia in West Africa. That's the first one. The second one will be in Mongolia, and that's called the Gobi Desert. The third one will be the roving race, which is, and I'll explain that at a later time, which is in Lapland, and that's exciting. The fourth race will be the Atacama crossing in Chile. And I did that one, and that was amazing. That was just incredible to be in an area where they actually shot movies from like being on the moon. And this is the closest that I could get to be on the moon. Besides feeling great about doing these races, it kind of makes you feel like it's so overwhelming and it's amazing. And then the 5th race is in Antarctica. So I'm going to attempt these races. There's about 4 to 6 weeks between each of them. And you'll ask me like, wow, how are you gonna able to do that? I said, well, good planning is very important. Now, the planning that I'm gonna do, you can apply to anything that you are doing. I know a lot of people are planning to do a lot of races next year. So if your races is 4 to 6 weeks to 8 weeks apart, you almost have to do a lot of your preparation prior to your first race. because after your first race, you kind of have to recover, and you can't go crazy because then you're almost jumping into your next race, right? And I am very excited that I'm putting up episodes regarding my preparation, and I also hope that this can help anybody to be able to do a race like this, because I came from an Ironman background, doing different training, going into a stage race that I had very little knowledge about. But the one thing I did have as a coach is I know how to change my training for a race that I'm gonna do. Now, let's see specifically Racing the Planet. There's a lot of information that one needs to know, and it's like, oh my God, it's so much information. So first, I would recommend for you to go on the website and get all the information that you can regarding the race that you're gonna do, whether it's Namibia or the Atacama Crossing. Antarctica, you are not able to do unless you've done 2 of the other races. So that's something to look forward to. So if you're doing, say for instance, you choose Namibia. Namibia is absolutely beautiful. That's one of the races that I've done. And it was just incredible. The first day when we were checking in our equipment, I had a conversation with the founder of Racing the Planet, Mary Gaddams, and she was standing around there, and I didn't even know who she was, and she just saw that I was completely out of place, and I just was like, there's so much. She came over to me and she was talking to me, and I felt so calm, and I felt like, okay, this is amazing. And she said something to me that really, really made a shift in me as a person, because on one hand, I was looking for something doing that race because of the country it was in. It had something to do with my father. And she said something to you. One thing that you have in a race like this is you become one with the earth. And I'm like, what, do I have to go roll in it a little bit and stuff like that? And I took it in, but I didn't really process it. And as the week went by and I saw all these incredible things, the landscape, the seals, the jackal, and it was, these things were just incredible, being like in the middle of nowhere. Like you're literally in the middle of nowhere, and you have these beautiful dunes that are just mesmerizing. And the experience was just so uplifting that I was like, I am capable of doing anything. Like, I can do this. And if you question yourself about, I can't do that, it's so hard, it's so expensive. I sometimes sign up for races and I don't have the equipment because I can't afford it. And that's what happened when I did my first Ironman in South Africa. I didn't have a bike. I borrowed a bike. I didn't have a canoe. I borrowed a canoe. But I believed in the fact that I will get there, but I can't stop doing the training. So, and that's what I did with Namibia. It is pricey, but it's just, you can't put a price on something like that. You can't. It just brought just so much to me. So how did I prepare for that race? I brought quite a few people into my life to support me and to understand what I expect of them and what I will probably go through. And a lot of them I didn't even know I went through. I was very fortunate at the time that I was working at a health club in New York, and I was training, I was coaching. I had a group, a team. The team came together and we raised money for me to buy the equipment I needed. And if this would be your first stage race, your investment is not just the entry fee and getting there. It's also the fact that there's mandatory equipment. And the mandatory equipment, in this case, I think it's between 30 and 35 pieces of things that you have to carry with you every day. So, and of course, you want to buy the best, the most durable, and the most comfortable. And you learn. I learned a lot by buying stuff that was not necessarily the things that I needed because it was too heavy. And we'll get into that later. But now I want to share with you that if you're thinking like there's so much coming into your life, there's just so much you have to take care of, I encourage you to go on YouTube and look at Racing the Planet Namibia 2017, 2019. Look at those documentaries that is up there of people that had to overcome so many things in order to do a race like this. I was fortunate enough to be healthy, but not everybody had that liberty before they started doing the race. What I love about these races that people come together from all places in the world, and what they do is that they each have a charity that they're supporting, and they're raising money, and they want to do good, and we want to do good in the communities that we are racing in, because they're opening up places to us that people are not allowed. They're not allowed. They weren't allowed in certain areas in Namibia. And it was so amazing because we had this guy, he was like this wild man, and he was driving this truck, and he literally lives in it. And he was, there's this project in Namibia, it's with the lions, and he watches them. He lives with them, and he's like, one day, actually the first day we started the race, we had to run 3 kilometers extra because the pride was, we were not allowed to go into their space. Isn't that amazing? It's like finally they get their space and we're not pushing them out of their space. But this guy came to talk to us, and he was like, I'm mesmerized. And I bought his book. Okay, yeah, I'm a softie. I bought his book. He's amazing. He's just unbelievable. And to have somebody like that come and talk to you while you were doing this race, it's just priceless. It's priceless. So those are the things that you can get out of it. Is there a lot of training involved? Not as much as you think, because people are like, oh my God, I have to do all these long runs. Yes, you do, but you can also walk them. Have you ever thought about that? So we're not going to talk about training today. All we're going to talk about is, and I keep repeating it, there's so much going on. So I have a box here. You see this box? It's a mess. It's a mess. I have my freeze-dried food in here, okay? Now, I have stuff back here. I don't know if you see it, but this is where I'm right now. I have all the information. I have stuff I'm going to share with you, different kinds of freeze-dried food. Why do I choose this? And I'm not a spokesperson for them. This over this. It doesn't mean this is not good. It just means this worked better for me. So I tested them before I trained to know that I like the taste and that I can live off this for 1 week. This is what you get to eat. And we'll talk about how you can prepare yourself, all the types of hydration. But you see how many things there is? There is, what kind of pad do I sleep on? Do I sleep on a inflatable, non-inflatable? What do I need? What kind of knife do I need? What kind of electrolyte will be best for me? And that is really important, is your nutrition. Because the nutrition throughout your training will set yourself up for success. And I'm not talking about high performance. If you want to finish, or you have a specific goal to be on the podium, nutrition is really, really important. So, to conclude today, this is my rumble room with all my things, my mandatory equipment. It's thrown in there, and we're gonna pick it apart, and I'm gonna show you that when you start your training, it is gonna be essential that you buy all your mandatory equipment, you put it in a bag, a waterproof bag. And see, now I'm digging. My brain is digging. Oh, my pillow. So, my mandatory bag, waterproof, and I'm going to put it in my backpack that I'm gonna use for my training. And backpacks, I love them. I have like 3 of them. I absolutely love them, and I can have one for every day. I would. But my favorites of backpack, I'm gonna share with you, and everybody has a different favorite of backpack. I'm so excited to share this journey with you. And I would gladly support anybody that is thinking of doing this race or one of these races. I already want to ask one of my best friends for 35 years to join me to do Namibia. I'm not going to put her out on the spot by shouting her name out, but I hope that she decides to come and do it with me. So I'm going to conclude today to tell you that anybody can do it. You just have to find the tools that works for you. Connect with the people that want to support you in order to get you where you want to go, unselfishly. You don't have to be finding the most expensive coach or the most expensive plan, etc. You just have to find what works for you, okay? This is the first and many segments that I'm going to share with you about Racing the Planet, the Grand Slam Plus 2022.